We've all seen a video about camera techniques in filmmaking. What's a dolly shot? What's a jib shot? What's the difference between a track and a slide? This week I wanted to make a video about some cinematic techniques that have become sort of more popular over time, particularly the 21st century, starting with the fact that the camera and the story will often interact. In action movies, this includes things like blood splattering onto the lens, the camera shaking after an explosion. Point of view shots and found footage are also great examples of this. Although I'm not very fond of most examples of this, I do think it's a really interesting kind of fourth wall break. Speaking of cameras, let's talk about impossible camera movements, such as the camera moving through an object. I'm sure you've seen a shot where the camera moved through a wall or through a window into a building. Another example of an impossible camera movement is a shot that takes place inside of some sort of small machinery. Like if you've seen in an action movie where the camera is like moving around inside of a computer or a bomb, which obviously this type of camera movement, with the exception of a colonoscopy, is not possible. One thing I notice a lot more in recent movies is the use of wide-angle lenses. I like this as a form of putting the viewer in the scene because wide-angle is more close to what we actually see. Another two techniques I really like are macro shots and montage sequences. Macro shots being extremely close shots of a small object, and montage sequences being a very rapid succession of individual shots. Kind of similar to montage sequences are the use of transitions, just at all. You may have noticed that I've been trying to tighten this up a little bit in my videos and try and have some more neat transitions between shots. Sort of looping back around to found footage, you'll see a lot of external footage sources being used. By external footage source, I mean something that's not the main third-person point of view of the movie, like footage from a news show or a security camera. An example of this is in the movie The Martian, where footage from the GoPros on the astronauts' suits and around the inside of their habitat thing, where that footage is used in addition to the main third-person camera. One of the more unique ones is what I like to call embracing imperfections. Decades ago, you would have wanted to avoid sort of camera mishaps, like camera shake, light leaks and flares, something like the lens being out of focus or the shot being really grainy. But in some more recent movies, I've seen a lot of techniques like this that sort of take detail away from the shot, being used stylistically. Lens flares and light leaks are used all the time. Vignetting and grain can also be used stylistically, and of course camera shake in action movies. Even blurry shots, for example tilt shift shots, have been accepted as a stylistic tool. You might also notice an intentionally awkward composition being used, such as a kind of weird emptiness in the frame, or kind of an excess of headroom above a character is one that I've noticed. My final example of this is placing abstract things into the physical scene. The best example I can think of for this is the way texting is handled in Sherlock. Whenever they send someone a text, the words from the screen pop up in the middle of the scene. So why is it that we've seen these big shifts and these new techniques emerge recently? Well, one big factor here is technological advancement. A lot of them just weren't possible several decades ago. Visual effects programs have made it almost easy to do some types of things that would have been impossible decades ago. But you know that I can't just give a technical explanation like that. I have to include something a little bit more airy. Basically, film is an art form, and art is a part of culture, art reflects culture, and culture always changes. I really enjoy seeing these techniques used in movies. Mostly just because there's something unique, there's something different to look at. And what I really like about a lot of these techniques is that they're making film more abstract. Just pointing a camera at something is really boring, and I like that over time it's become more acceptable to do something crazy with it. If you want to do something crazy, then you should subscribe. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and share it with your friends. I make new videos just like this every week, and I will see you in the next one.